Hello, I am your host, Ken Canion of Love, Lust, and Lies. And the show is geared to helping women navigate the complexities of modern day relationships. Now, I help men too, but it's just this show is about women. Now, a lot of men get on the show because they learn tips too. Because like today is I'm going to give you tips that apply to women and men, but the show is geared toward women. But I want to help women navigate the complexity of our relationships because I have a lot of women clients. Speaking of that, let's get started. The reason why I'm doing this, so let me tell you what happened. I got a text from one of my clients, and well, she wasn't a client before this, but she says, I've been watching the show. I basically want you to help me. So she did a discovery session. And she said, I'm in a relationship and I am afraid to speak up. I've never been the type of person to say what's on my mind. I've always been the type of person, if people say things to me, I don't speak and say what's on my mind. I internalize what I feel. And thus, I harbor emotions. I harbor negative emotions towards people who've said things to me. I harbor negative emotions to my parents who have said things to me. And I'm in a relationship now. I am starting to harbor negative emotions toward the partner I am engaged, but I don't want to. I do not want to. So I want you to help me, show me how I can stand up for myself. Thus, the topic of today, how to stand up for yourself in a relationship. And not only how to stand up for yourself, how to stand up for yourself in conflict. Today, we're going to talk about how to stand up for when you want something. If you want something, say you're on a job. Say you're doing something for someone, but you want more, and you don't know how to say it. You don't know how to convey the things that you're feeling in your heart. Today, I'm going to show you how to do that. All right. And so what I want you to understand is there are some things that I want you to understand before we get into the subject real deep. First thing I want you to understand is when you stand up for yourself, you're coming from a place of self-love. The truth is a lot of people who don't stand up for themselves, they don't truly love themselves. Because I said something interesting to a group this morning. I said, okay, now get this. Let me ask you this question. Would you rather pour out your love or let your love spill over? And then they didn't understand what I was saying. I said, would you rather pour out your love to someone else or would you rather your love spill over? And the question was, they were baffled by my question. So I said, let me explain it to you. When you pour out your love, what happens, it comes from a place of I pour out something, and then I'm pouring out something. I'm losing something when I pour it out. And I said, well, when your love spills over, it means I have an abundance of it for myself. Thus, the rest, I have more than enough to give to someone else. Because a lot of people, you want to pour out your love hoping that you get love from somebody else. But the truth of the matter is, true love comes from you being able to allow your love for yourself to spill over in someone else. And many times, y'all, what we do is we get so enamored to giving to others. We become caregivers. We take care of our children. And what we do is we distract ourselves. We distract ourselves from the love we truly lack in ourselves. Because what we think is, if I give my kids all the love, if I give my mom all the love, if I give my spouse all the love, I will be happy. And the truth is, you're going to be miserable. Miserable because when you pour out all the love for everybody else, you have nothing left. You have nothing left. And what I say is pour the love into yourself and let it spill over to everybody else. Focus on you. The truth is you cannot love somebody else until you're willing to love yourself. So let's say where standing up for yourself comes from a place of love. Now, what I'm going to tell you to do is I'm going to tell you to do things that at the end of the day, the more you do them, the more the love will come to you. Okay. Is that fair enough? All right. Now, so the first thing you got to understand is this. If you're ever going to stand up for yourself, I want you to write down this. Whatever the relationship is you have, you don't have to say it. All I want you to do is write down one thing. What boundaries would you like to have? Let me give you an example. If your boss comes in and every time in the morning he comes into you and he puts his hand on your shoulder, if that is a boundary that you have, but you never speak up about it, I want you to write that down. If you have a spouse and your spouse raises their voice every time you don't do something, or anytime this happens or that happens, you want to create a boundary around that and address that, I want you to write that down. Okay? So the first thing you got to understand, if you're going to ever stand up for yourself, you got to have, number one, boundaries. Boundaries of, okay, when you cross this boundary, I have to chin check you. You know, in boxing, what they say, they get you, let me get you up off me, but I'm going to chin check you. All right? So, and the reason why this is important, because if you do not create boundaries, people will always go beyond the boundaries. Always. They will always go beyond the boundaries. I'll give you an example. There was a guy that, y'all know I may occasionally use a four-letter word. I done told God, I'm trying to stop cussing. But anyway, when I got around this guy, you know, I use my four-letter words as I do just in conversation now. He said, I would appreciate it if you did not, you know, curse around me, and here's why, whatever he said. And then I cursed around him again. He said it again. But what he did was condition me that when I was around I was conscious about my language. And I respected his boundaries. So when I was around him, I never used any four-letter words. Okay? What he did, though, he conditioned me not to do it. Okay, notice I said he conditioned me. So first you got to have your boundary. Second thing is you have to be willing to condition others to your boundaries. And what do I mean by condition them? I simply mean this, that every time somebody crosses your boundary, I don't care what it is, every time they cross the boundary you've created, you've got to chin check them. You have to address it. You have to address it because you're not addressing it to be, you know, a biatch. All you do, you're addressing it because what you want to do is condition them to a new behavior. All right? You cannot let it pass. You cannot give it a pass, because if you do give it a pass, you never condition people to a new behavior. That's why our children, with my grandkids, I tell them you knock on the door, they used to just bust in the door. And every time they don't knock on, hey, go back out. Come in again and knock on the door. And all I'm doing is conditioning them. Now, they never walk in our bedroom without knocking on the door, because we're conditioning people to a new behavior. Is that fair? All right, let's get started. Now, y'all done got wound up now. I done got wound up. Let's get going. So you got to be willing to chin check them every time, because what you're doing is you're simply conditioning them to a new behavior. I like that chin check. All right. In boxing, chin check means I'm just getting them up off me. All right. So listen. So standing up for yourself is two things. It's art and it's science. And I'm going to kick both of them to you today. So the first thing is, when you're attempting to stand up for yourself, it's going to be difficult if you have never done this before. If you have never done this before, you've never stood up for yourself before, it is going to be difficult. Now, when I say difficult, it is easy, it is simple to do. What I'm going to tell you, the things are simple, but they're not easy. Most things in life that are simple, they're not easy. What I will tell you is the result is so worth it that if you don't do it, you will continue to do the things you've been doing and getting the result that you've been getting. Okay? So let's get cracking. Standing up for yourself, I have a 4-part methodology of how to do it. And when you start doing this, y'all, the results in your life are going to be amazing. Amazing. So the first thing you got to do is, number one, focus on the message so he doesn't focus on the messenger. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Listen to what I said. Focus on the message so that he doesn't focus on the messenger. Now, what do I mean by that, Ken? What do I mean by that? Let me show you something. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. If I tell you I'm angry and you see the anger on my face and you're like, because what you're going to do is react to what you see. Because that is the thing, because 63% of our communication is based on nonverbal communications. Now watch this. Let me tell you how to throw people way off. What you do is you tell the person the emotion you feel, but do not show the emotion. Oh my goodness, Ken, what are you talking about? This is psychology. So what I do is, if you're mad with your spouse, here's what you do. You tell your spouse, I'm angry. I'm angry because what? Now you're smiling. They see you smiling, but you just said, I am angry. What happens is it's contradictory. So their senses, they don't know what to do. So because they don't know what to do, they begin to listen closer to your message because the message and your body language is incongruent. Okay? Whenever your body language and your message is incongruent, I focus more on your message. So what you tell them is, I am angry. Okay? All right, listen to me carefully. You do not raise your voice when you're telling the emotion. When you tell a man, you say, listen, I'm hurt by what you did. I'm hurt by what you did. I didn't raise my voice. Now he focuses on the message. Now she focuses on the message. And listen, when you say it calmly, what you're doing is you are confusing his senses. Now when I'm focusing on the message, all of a sudden, then this is what I want you to do. I want you to do this. At that point, once you've gathered his attention, once you've gathered her attention, then what you have to do is speak authentic and transparent. What people try to do when they want to speak their truth is what they try to do is they try to say things around what they're thinking, hoping that you'll figure it out. That is a mistake. Because when you say things around what you're thinking, the person doesn't figure it out. They don't know what you talk about, what you're talking about. They don't understand the dynamics of how you feel about it. And so what you're doing is because you don't want to confront it head on in the relationship, what you do is you tiptoe around it and hope they figure it out. It ain't happening. So what I'm going to tell you is, number one, focus on the message so he doesn't focus on the messenger. Number two is where you get it done. Number two, use the emotional / logical formula. Use the Grand Canyon, Ken Canion's formula. I call it the emotional / logical formula. Let me show you how this works. This is going to be powerful, y'all. So let's say what it is. You don't know how to say it. You want to stand up for yourself. You want to be authentic. You want to be transparent, but you don't know how to say it. Let me show you how to say it. First thing you do, I call this the I methodology. The I methodology. It's an emotional / logical formula, but just call it, use the I methodology. Okay, the I formula, I methodology. Here's the first thing you do. The first thing you do is, you were calm. Remember what I said? So he can focus on the message that's coming out and not the messenger. So you always start with the facts. See, whenever there's an emotional situation, you start with the facts. Here's go. The facts start with I see, I notice. I notice that every time you get angry with me, you raise your voice. I noticed that. I noticed that every time I see this, the fact. I'm not talking about emotion right now. I noticed that you get angry with me when I don't wash the dishes. That's just a fact. I noticed the fact. Now watch this, y'all. Whenever you start with the fact, okay, and you're not bringing emotion in, you're saying, here's what I see. Here's what I see. Here's what I noticed. I observed. Here's what I'm starting with the fact. All right. Remember, I'm calm. I noticed that you take your phone away every time I come in the room. I noticed that. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't say, why are you taking your phone out of here? Who you hiding it from? Notice I didn't say that. I said, I noticed. I noticed that you did that. And then the second thing is, first is I see stage. The second part of it is I feel stage. Get this. I noticed that you take your phone out. I feel like you're attempting to hide something. I feel like I'm not privy to that part of your life. I feel like this. I feel like that. Why is it that you talk about, first you started with fact. You engaged the logical side of the brain. Then you said, here's how I feel about it. You engage the emotional side of the brain. Okay, the reason why you do that is because now the person you're dealing with, they have to deal with your emotion. Remember what I said. You never showed your emotion. You simply told him your emotion. You said, number one, I noticed that you go out of the room every time you take your phone. Here's what I noticed. Oh, yeah. I don't do that. You know, he's going, okay, I'm just telling you what I noticed. But I feel like, then I go to I feel like this is disrespectful. I feel like if you don't want to be in a relationship, if you don't want to share that part of your life, simply say that. And don't raise your voice. Now, he's forced to deal with your emotion. He's going to attempt to deflect. The problem is this. When he deflects, get quiet. Don't say a word. Let him deflect. Let him do what he does. And then once he stops, you say this. Here's what I want. I would like for us, either we're going to share or we're not. It's like this. I see, I feel, and I want. What can we do? I want us to solve this problem together. If I feel it, it's a problem. If I feel it, it's valid. I would like this. I would like that. How can we work together to solve that problem? Notice what I did, y'all. I stood up for myself. I never raised my voice. And I showed them, number one, what I believe, what I feel, what I see, the facts, the emotions, how I feel, and then let's work together. I'm engaging both sides of their brain, the emotional and the logical at the same time. Y'all, it's brilliant. It works beautiful. I want you to try that. The next thing is this. It's number three. Number three is be willing to ask clarifying questions. Whenever you want to stand up for yourself, you want to ask clarifying questions. Now, let me watch this, y'all. This is so powerful. And what we're trying to do is we're attempting to stand up for ourselves without demeaning the other person, without diminishing the other person. Okay, so what happens is clarifying questions. Here's how you do it. What you do is you always, I'm going so hard my cuff came off. Whoa! Watch this. Whenever you notice a behavior that is not conducive, because you want to stand up for yourself. Whenever you want to stand up for yourself, here's what you do. You always ask clarifying questions that tie to the behavior, the outcome of what they want. Watch this. So a person is raising their voice at you, okay? And here's what you always say. You always start with this. Do you feel that raising your voice at me is conducive to us growing as a couple? Oh my goodness. Always. Now watch this. I'm going to my boss. Do you feel me working extra hours, not being able to do what it is I was supposed to do, is going to help us grow, help me get assignments in on time? Do you feel? Why am I doing that? Why am I doing that, y'all? See, here's what I'm doing. I am tying the question, this clarifying question, with a said outcome that they said they want. They want an outcome, right? Now, is the behavior you exhibiting going to help us get closer to the outcome? Do you feel like hiding your phone is going to help us grow as a couple? And I've never raised my voice. All I did was ask a clarifying question. What the question does is tie the person's supposedly core values to their outcome, to what they want. But you're standing up for yourself when you ask it. See, what this does is it lets the other person know that I have a boundary and I'm willing to stand up for that boundary. I don't have to fight you. I don't have to stand up and be like, I don't have to do that. All I simply have to do is ask a question based on your goal, my goal. Ask a clarifying question. Number 4, and this is powerful. Number 4 in standing up for yourself is you have to be willing to say no. This is the hardest thing for some people. Some people cannot say no. And what happens is, when you don't say no, what happens to you is you ultimately will resent the person. You're going to resent the person that you can't say no to. You will resent the person. Then you're going to resent yourself because you can't say it. So now I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to do it. I got you, Catrice. You in the class. I got you. Y'all going to be in the class. All right, listen. It's coming. See, most people can't say no because they have this belief that being a people pleaser, if I can please people by saying yes, then ultimately people will feel better about me. And the truth of the matter is that's not true. That's contrary to the truth. The truth is the more I say yes, the more people take advantage of me. Okay? And it's counterintuitive, but the more I say yes to a person, we're conditioning them that they can take advantage or take me for granted in the relationship. So the reason why you have to be willing to say no is because you have to be willing to say no. It's temporary discomfort for long-term affection for oneself. Because if I say no to you now, all right, then ultimately I will love myself because I created a boundary and I was able to stand up for myself. Y'all, this happens on a subconscious level, and you got to be willing. You got to be willing to say no. Because, people get so hung up on, you know what, I got to say yeah, I got to say yes. And when you do say no, you're so compelled to say why. And you don't have to say why. You simply say no, and you say, I'm just going to have to pass this go around, well, why? Please do it. And what, doesn't this happen, y'all? They please do it. Please do it. I need you. I need you. I need you. I need you. And you give in. And you give in. Listen, for your well-being and your sanctity, be willing to say no. And how do we start? Say no with something small, y'all, coming up. Because there are times when there's intuition inside of you that says you need to say no. You know it. You know it. And so what I'm going to tell you to do is, the truth is, you got to be willing to say no. And look, if you're not willing to say no, you're going to stay in the same situation. So here we go. The last thing, my last tip, my last formula. Now, this is the most powerful formula. Check this out. So someone called me the other day, and they work for a ministry. And the ministry, they've been doing it for volunteer. And they want to tell the ministry, I feel like I should get paid. I have value. I feel like I should be played. I want to get paid. But they don't know how to say it, so they're afraid of how people will react to them. Okay? They're afraid. So let me show you how to do it. When there is something you desire, and you're not sure how to say it, watch this. Take notes. I give you 20 seconds. Now I'll give you 3 seconds to get you a pad. And when I give you this, go back and watch the replay and get it, all right? Number one, whenever you're approaching someone, whenever you're in conversation with someone and you want something, but you're not getting it, and you're not sure how the person is going to react. So the first thing you want to do is you start with what we both desire, okay? Start with what we both desire. So here's how it works. So let's say you're on the job. And you're on the job, what we both want. Start with what we both want. We're on the job. You want to talk to your boss about a raise. You want to talk to the people who you've been volunteering with. You want them to start paying you. You always start the conversation with what you both want. Here's how this works. Like this. You start the conversation. You said, you know what? I enjoy working here. I enjoy being in a relationship with you. I enjoy it. I think we have so many things in common. And I know we both want this to happen. I know we will both want to reach souls. I know we both want to grow in this relationship, don't we? I know we both, this is called the yes factor. Getting them to say yes. An object, inertia is called an object in motion tends to stay in motion. Whenever you get people to say yes to something, they're more likely to say yes to something else. Okay? So you say, I start with what you both agree on. Okay? We both want this to work. We both want to reach souls. We both want to have our kids grow in an environment where they can thrive, right? You start with what you both want, right? Why do you do that? Because you do that because you get them into what we call the yes factor. Yes, we do. And then what you do is, number 2, you pivot to what you need to make that want happen. Watch this, watch it, watch it. Watch this. Then you say, listen, I know we both want that. I want that. You want that. To make that happen, here's what I need. I would like to earn more money. And the reason I would like to earn more money, the reason why this part is important, you always kick in your why. I want to earn more money. I would like to earn more money because I feel more valued. If I earn more money, I'm able to do this. I'm able to do that. But at the end of the day, yeah, I like to give that which we both want. But I need this. So you focus, number 1, on what you both want. Then you focus, number 2, pivot to what you need to get that want, to make that want happen. I need this. I need that. I need this because I need a raise because I want to feel like that I'm valued here. Okay? The reason why you tell your why, because what your why does, your why gives context to your need. It doesn't matter what your why is. It might be your why, it might be I need to take care of my mom. I need to take care of my kids. Whatever it is, but your why is so important. People don't care about what you do. They care about why you do it. When you tell them your why, then it becomes real to the other person. And then the last thing is you say, what I like to do is find a solution together. Can we find a solution together? You ask them the question, can we find the solution together? Wow, that's powerful. So then you shut up. Shut up after that. You let them internalize everything you said. And now it's no longer you. It's now you've engaged them to find the solution to your problem with you. Does that make sense, y'all? I'm telling you, it takes a little practice, but you got to be willing to do this. You got to be willing to do it. Here's your homework. I want you to write 3 things you can do to stand up to somebody in your life. And it could be mom. It could be dad. It could be a coworker. I want you to, who can you stand up to? And in the ways that I've talked to you about, who can you stand up to? And the last thing, the word of the day is simply this, is what I said earlier. The truth is, you cannot pour out your love. You cannot. If you pour out your love, that means you are losing love. You don't have enough. What I want you to do is let your love for yourself be so great that it spills over and spills over to other people. All right? Listen, I'm Ken Canion, your host of Love, Lust, and Lies. Until tomorrow, you guys be blessed. I'm out.